Before we get into the how-to of flagship products, let's define and show some examples of some flagship products that are seen in the internet marketing niche. Now, there's other niches, of course, that have flagship products, but I think you'll be able to identify some of the specifics of each and every one of these types of flagship products. So here's one of the first ones. Here's Product Launch Formula by my friend Jeff Walker. And this was the first big ticket product I ever bought. I think I bought version 2, which was back in 2008. It's a long time ago, right? And some of the reasons that make this a flagship product for Jeff are the following. The first thing is it's revolutionary. Before Jeff showed the product launch formula, nobody was doing it this way. And the minute people started doing it this way, it just produced ridiculous results that the world had never seen. Now, it's very hard, by the way. Let me just give you the heads up on that. It's very hard to create a flagship product that is revolutionary. Now, it can happen sometimes by accident, too, by the way. Like in Jeff's case, it was very accidental in a sense. He kind of just, some of it was accidental, right? He kind of just felt his way there, but then he recognized it, and he utilized it, and he got behind it. Now, the other reason this is the second reason here that the product launch formula is considered a flagship product is it has tremendous amounts of proof, and most important, in my opinion, is beyond Jeff's personal proofs and the testimonials of his customer base, he's got social proof. Meaning everywhere you look, when somebody's doing a product launch formula, Jeff's fingerprints and DNA are all over that. And that is a byproduct of grabbing an initial market or getting a foothold into a market space. So it's one thing to create a product that gets customers. It's another thing to get customers that when people can see the effects of your product in others' businesses. Product E-Class has that, by the way. We've done webinars to sell Product E-Class Ultima, and they say, "Hey, you sound like so-and-so," and how they teach product creation, Jason. I go, "I know, because I taught them, product creation back in 2009." But that's okay. So the last thing here, too, with the flagshipness of Product Launch Formula is singular in focus. It's almost impossible to give Jeff money. I laugh about that. I like it, actually. Because he only sells really on the front end to a new customer. The only way he really ever acquires a brand new customer is through a product launch formula launch. Now, on the back end, he'll promote things to you, affiliate offers, and he'll also promote higher levels and specific applications of utilizing a product launch. But that is very powerful. Now, this is not the only way to do a flagship product, but it is nice to know that these are the three major contributions, I believe, that make this a flagship product. And by the way, I've never done a flagship product that is revolutionary, really, not truly revolutionary, maybe micro-revolutionary within the domain itself. Obviously, I've never done singular focus. But whatever, you don't have to. These are just some things that you can utilize to your advantage. So here's another example. This is Operation Physical Products by Ezra Firestone. He's another really good friend of mine. And this is a flagship product in the sense that it is the number one most likely way that customers who want to sell physical products are going to be introduced to Ezra and introduced really to us as the affiliate, because we're pretty much the only affiliate that has access to promote this product. Now, here's the reasons that this is flagship. It's graduated. So we took a powerful position and leveraged this because we had so many success stories, so many assets created related to selling on Amazon, and so many things that we had learned uniquely with insight and our unique positioning as the affiliate, and all of our stuff is free once you take Operation Physical Products. We just realized how powerful this position was, and we naturally moved into taking advantage of it from a flagship perspective. We saw what was happening already naturally in the market, and we just augmented it and got behind it. And you have to do that at the expense of other things. It is true that I create less products in 2016 than I created in 2009. But it's also true I make 10 times as much money in 2016 as I do in 2009 as well, because we continually trade up in opportunity. So when I focus singularly on Operation Physical Products as an affiliate, when Ezra focuses on it as a front-end product, really the main way to get new customers for him and his business, we do so at the expense of creating a lot of other different products, smaller products, to hit this one big product. But we graduated there. We did not start there. Secondly, proprietary is a major factor here. We can, and we do have access to resources not easily obtainable, and we also know how to interpret them in ways most people don't know how to interpret them. So this is called an advantage. So Some advantages are short-term. And I'll give you an example of that. Like the first people to ever use exit pop-ups. So when you would visit a website and when you try to leave and say, hey, wait, before you go, that annoying little thing that pop up. The first people to use that had a tremendous advantage. But the problem was anybody who could grab a piece of code and put it on their webpage could soon utilize that same advantage. So it was short-lived. It lasted a month, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6 months, right? But having other advantages, such as unique software that you use only internally, and that gives you information that other people have, or having customers and a unique relation to them that they're willing to open up to you in a way that nobody else will. That is not your customer. That's all proprietary things. Those are all advantages. Experience is an advantage that you have that is not easy for others to replicate or duplicate. And that can help tremendously contribute to your flagship product. And lastly, this is very important to me. There are no clearly defined active leaders on this topic. So the point here is if you want to have a flagship product, you've got to be number one or strive to be number one. And so if there's no clearly defined number one leader right now for that flagship product opportunity, then we call that open. If there is somebody who's a leader, then we have to knock off the leader. We have to beat the leader. We have to supersede the leader, right? Now, in this particular case, the leader retired, and it left a gap in the marketplace to open up. So it's a timing advantage that we had there to claim the spot as quickly and swiftly as possible. And so these are considerations. So these are 3 additional considerations that you can think about to help you with your own flagship product beyond the first example that I gave you here. Here's another example. This is Video Boss. I remember when this came out, this was revolutionary to the market for the Video Boss by Andy Jenkins, who's also a friend of mine, right? And the beautiful thing about this is Andy utilized good timing. He was the benefactor of an upward trend. The technology to do video in sales was now to a point where the internet bandwidth could hold it up, and it wasn't too cost prohibitive, so the mass market could utilize video in their marketing. And video was simply out converting everything else at the time. Plus, it had some mystique. A lot of people wanted to do it, but it had mystery surrounding how to do it effectively. So the market timing was perfectly to really come in and grab that market and then hold on to it and then grow with it. The second thing here, passion. So Andy is so incredibly passionate about video that it's fun just to listen to him. And more importantly, though, passion that can be reined in to generate revenue. That is even more important to me. I'd rather you be passionless at first and have a business that can still generate profit, because we can then use that to bring in and fold in passions, right? But using passion first and then trying to transmutate that to profit, a lot harder to do. But having both where they're kind of buried together and intertwined is helpful. So are you passionate about something that also has a high propensity for profitability? That's good. And lastly here is experience. So Andy, he went to school for filmmaking. He produced or helped edit the Blair Witch product. He won like an Emmy or something like that. I don't know which one of those things that they give out for that type of stuff. And so he's done it, experienced it, lived, breathed, slept, obsessed over it. So that combined with the upward trend, combined with the fact that people are willing and eager and excited to pay for it, is a perfect opportunity to make a flagship product. Product E-Class is a flagship product. This is what I want to specifically be known for if customers are giving me money directly. When we promote Operation Physical Products, that's Ezra's flagship product. I'm the flagship affiliate for that product, but it's not my product, it's Ezra's product, even though I've really helped shape it. Product E-Class is my baby from start to finish. Now here's the interesting thing. This is highly market driven. The reality is creating information product is not something is not my number one skill. Let's put it that way. I very well may be the number one trainer on product creation. I believe that I am. But it's not my best thing that I do to make money. My best thing to do is webinars. The problem is most people don't have the propensity to want to spend on webinar training. It's niche within a niche. Webinars are, at least at this point, probably will be for the foreseeable future. Or if they're willing to buy webinar stuff, they'll buy it really cheaply just to satisfy the desire intellectually to learn more about it. But it's very hard to get people to spend $1,000 on webinar training, and it's a lot easier to get them to spend $1,000 in info product creation training. And so I utilize and see this is what the market really wants, and the market is currently being drastically underserved when it comes to product creation. And I'm good at it. So I take something I'm good at, naturally predisposed at, and excited about, that the market wants, that there is a gap in the market towards. And that is what I hang my hook on, even if I'm better at something else. That's not necessarily the thing that you want to make your flagship product. You want to make something you're pretty damn competent at, that also the market is prime for and will be prime for a long time. Secondly, great fit. To really be good at flagship products, you got to be a doer and a teacher. So you got to do it well, but you got to know how to teach it. So when Jeff Walker taught Product Launch Formula, he was really the first guy I seen at a high level to teach it using mind maps. And that ability for the customer to understand and use it, and then he crystallized a lot of concepts. People weren't doing it like that before. So you take a revolutionary concept, which is a product launch, and a revolutionary teaching method, very, very powerful. Very powerful. And, Andy Jenkins was able to teach both the marketing aspect as well as the technical aspect of video. And some people were good at one or good at the other, but very few were good at both. Ezra Firestone, he's a guy that, he's making $75,000 a day selling his own products. So usually guys like that don't get the chance to teach because they're too busy doing it. But we set up a situation that allows him to do and teach because I take care of all the marketing for it, or most of the marketing for it, right? So this is a good fit. So this is something to be aware of. Leverage position, lastly here, is if you've already got customers, if they're already excited to hand you money, and you see a lot more opportunity to improve upon your position, leverage it and go harder and faster simultaneously. Be smarter, but also work harder to help you take on that position eventually, realizing that flagship product where you're the number one provider in that marketplace and you're famous and you're known as such.